Hey everyone, today we're covering how to use proxies with cURL in 2026 on an automated HTTP client. It's installed on virtually every Linux, macOS, and Windows system, and it's the tool developers reach for first when testing APIs, debugging network issues, or writing quick shell scripts. Adding proxy support to your cURL commands is essential for testing from different IPs, bypassing geo restrictions, and building reliable data collection scripts. Proxies are useful with cURL for API testing, where you verify how your API responds from different regions. Web scraping helps you collect data from sites that block repeated requests. Connectivity debugging lets you test whether proxy infrastructure is working. CI/CD pipelines can run health checks through specific network paths, and shell scripts benefit from automated data collection with rotating IPs. On in curl 7.x or 8.x installed, and access to a proxy server, which can be HTTP, HTTPS, SOCKS 4, or SOCKS 5. Most modern curl builds support all of these protocols, so verify yours includes what you need. That's Chilubos of the proxy server, and is the most common way to set one. For HTTPS proxies, curl connects to the proxy itself over HTTPS, encrypting the connection between your machine and the proxy. SOCKS 4 and SOCKS 5 proxies work similarly, but the SOCKS 4a and SOCKS 5h variants resolve DNS on the proxy side, which prevents DNS leaks. For better anonymity, prefer SOCKS 5h over plain SOCKS 5. You can also separate the proxy type from the address using a long-form syntax. On in TV, the proxy authentication, you can include credentials directly in the proxy URL. A separate flag lets you pass credentials independently from the URL, which is useful when your password contains special characters like @ or facio that would break the URL format. If you need to include special characters in line, URL encode them first. You can also store proxy credentials in a .NET-RC file to avoid putting them in scripts. For corporate proxies using Windows authentication, cURL supports both NTLM and Kerberos. Negotiate authentication. On in you can set proxy configuration globally using environment variables. cURL reads these automatically, so any cURL command routes through the configured proxy without extra flags. Some systems use uppercase versions of these variables. To override the environment proxy for a single command, pass a different proxy directly. To bypass the proxy entirely for one command, use the no proxy flag. When you access an HTTPS URL through an HTTP proxy, cURL automatically uses the connect method to create a tunnel. You can force tunneling even for HTTP requests, which makes the proxy act as a pure TCP relay without inspecting the traffic. You can also send custom headers directly to the proxy rather than to the destination server. On any optional proxy connections, verify your IP through the proxy to confirm it's working. Check proxy response time, and use verbose output to see the full connection negotiation, including proxy connect requests, TLS handshakes, and response headers. You can also loop through multiple proxies quickly to test them all. On in shell scripts, you can rotate through a list of proxies and assign each request a different one. Parallel scraping with xarg lets you run multiple requests simultaneously. You can build retry logic with proxy failover, so if one proxy fails, the script moves to the next. For file downloads, you can follow redirects and resume broken downloads. Opionda ristiptiki was the performance tillbroadcast in compressed responses reduces proxy bandwidth. Reusing TCP connections improves speed for scripts making multiple requests. So purpose that you can also limit bandwidth to avoid detection or stay within proxy bandwidth limits. HTTP trouble multiplexing through a proxy only applies to the connection between the proxy and the target. The cURL to proxy connection uses HTTP/1.1 for the connect tunnel. Every cURL command then picks up those settings automatically, and you can ignore the config file for specific commands when needed. Post requests, API key authentication headers, and file uploads all work through proxies the same way they do without one. For troubleshooting, if cURL can't connect to the proxy, check whether the proxy is online, verify no firewall is blocking the connection, and confirm the address and port. If you get a proxy connect aborted error, the proxy likely rejected the request due to an auth failure or because it doesn't allow HTTPS tunneling. Verify your credentials and check whether the proxy supports HTTPS connect. If you get an SSL connect error through the proxy tunnel, check whether a corporate proxy is intercepting SSL and provide the CA certificate if needed. If the proxy returns an HTML page instead of your target content, it's likely serving its own error or login page, so check response headers and verify authentication. For slow performance, enable gsync compression and add timing to identify the bottleneck. If cURL ignores your proxy settings, check whether the target domain is listed in your no proxy environment variable. All female or gsync compressions are battle tested. Use obrasicus for one-off proxy commands, environment variables for system-wide proxy settings, and .cURL sui for persistent configuration. SOCKS 5h gives you remote DNS resolution for better anonymity. Use the minor U flag for credentials with special characters. Enable compression and timing variables to benchmark proxy performance. Combine these with shell scripting for proxy rotation and failover in any workflow. Want an experience? Visit dataresearchtools.com. See you in the next one.